How's it going, fam? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and today we are going to go over some knife duos that I really enjoy using together. This is another video inspired by Randy Johnson. I'm obsessed with his content. He's kind of an old-time knife reviewer. He's not old by any means. He's just been around for ages making content. And he has made numerous videos kind of showing what knives he likes to pair together and why. I've always found them super intriguing. So today I'm going to show you a few pairings that I really enjoy carrying and talk a little bit about why I chose to put them together. So the first duo that we have here is my Chris Reeve Small Sebenza 31 in S45. Plain Jane. Absolutely stunning. And I really like pairing that with this GEC bullnose. So the reason I like putting these together is because this bullnose is a really nice slicer. And I love how it feels. It's just an old school traditional style sod buster type deal here. And it's really good for cutting up your apples at work and stuff, and light duty tasks. And it's just like nice to carry because it's old school, it fits in my watch pocket. It's beautiful. But with that bullnose style blade, you are a little limited with what you can do. And I have found that this is just not the best at some EDC tasks, especially doing large amounts of cardboard. That's just not really where this shines. So I do like to carry it with the Small Sebenza because this is like the real EDC knife of the duo. This can do the cardboard processing and the rope cutting and a little more hard use stuff, and it locks. So I like to put it with this just because this can handle a little more. Also, this has a way more prominent tip on it. So if I need to do any pokey tasks, this is the knife that I would want to pull out because that sod buster just does not have a tip to work with at all. So I really like putting those two together. I think they complement each other well. They carry well, and they're fun to put together. They're really fun. All right, let's close these up and go on to the next one. So the next one I have would be my Emerson Mini A100 in 154 cm and my Native 5 lightweight in Rex 45 that has been reground. Oh, wait, I don't think I mentioned this is 1095. So we had 1095 tool steel with S45 VN for the first pairing. And then this one is the 154 and the 45. So, this knife is extremely thin and lightweight and a super slicer. This has been reground from my friend Anthony. Anthony, if you're watching this, please put your contact info down in the comments. People are consistently asking about your work. So this is like my super slicer, my lightweight, absolute shredder of a knife. This Rex 45 performs very well. It's very hard. This just shreds through cardboard and plastic packaging, all that good stuff. And it's so lightweight. So I really like putting this one with the Emerson Mini A100 because this is just the beater of the two. This is a knife that I have had for so long. I love the Mini A100. I will never fall out of love with this knife. I think it's just stunning, and it can do anything. When I throw this in my pocket, I'm viewing it a little more as a multi-tool than a slicer, obviously. We have an extremely thick blade stock, so you're pretty limited with slicey tasks. But that's okay, because we have our slicer, so this is our multi-tool, our pry bar, our screwdriver, our hard-use knife of the pairing. And I just love the ergonomics of the Mini A100. I stonewashed, or acid stonewashed, I should say, this blade quite some time ago. This is one I've really used and abused. Granted, it does have a nice edge on it now. I love this thing, man. It's so smooth, too. Like, this just, you know, has the back lock. And it's smooth for a native 5 lightweight, absolutely. But this one is just silky, man. And I've made videos on how to get your Emersons to feel that good. I kind of go through a process of letting that copper-infused grease really work its way into the pores of those silicone nylon washers. No, they're not nylon. They're Nylotron. Nylotron silicone-impregnated washers, but you've got to keep that copper grease in there to open those pores up first, and then what I like to do is actually take that copper-infused grease off once the break-in period has gone through, and I put Chris Reeve grease on my Emersons, and I have found that it gives them an action like never before. Insanely smooth once you've got that Chris Reeve grease in there. This is just silk. So I really like these two together. Again, another duo that complements very well. And you can really kind of tackle anything with these two if they are hanging out in your pocket together. The next duo I have, my TRM Neutron 2 in 20 CV, and my Chris Reeve Small Sebenza 31 in S45 VN. These two I like putting together because I think that they are really similar, actually. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're not similar. They don't even look the same. Hear me out. They feel a lot alike if we're just talking about quality. Quality of build. The tolerances on the TRM are not as tight as a Chris Reeve, obviously, but the quality is there. The quality of everything that this presents is absolutely there. So I like putting them together because they just feel good. And also, like, the Neutron 2 is the super slicer of the two. You know, this gives the Sebenza a chance to be the hard use roll for a little bit. And yes, it can do that, especially this one. This can take on a little more of the beefier work. I have batoned with this knife. No, I don't advise doing that. It was stupid, and it also worked extremely well. And it was really fun. But I'm serious, I have batoned on the channel with this knife. Just for fun. And it did incredibly well, so you can hard use a Sebenza if you want. If you're a crazy person like I am. So this one just takes the role of hard use for a little bit in this duo. And then you've got your super slicer. And this one, if you're into fidget factor, is fidgety. That's against my rules. We don't fidget on the channel. But if you are into smooth action and admiring the silky movement of a knife, this should satisfy you. Really lightweight and snappy and fast. That blade just flies out of here, man. And it's so easy to actuate. It's so easy to it's just natural. It just comes naturally with really little to no attention to where you're putting your thumb or anything. It's almost like you just put your thumb here and it just bloop, flies right out. You know, the Sebenza, you've got to be a little more cautious. There's a way to open a Sebenza correctly or with more ease. You're kind of supposed to push out and around. Some people have a hard time opening their Sebenza because they're trying to push up like a normal fidgety knife. I have found that if you go out and around and rotate, this opens much easier, but you're still never going to get that full fidget factor that the TRM brings and that mindless opening and closing, you know? So I think that these go really well together. Complement each other really nicely. And you can, again, tackle basically anything that you would encounter with this duo. Covers the full spectrum of use. What do we have next? This is a fun one. Let's go with a blackout theme for aesthetics. Check this out. Does that not look badass? Complete blackout carry. We've got a small Inkosi from Chris Reeve Knives. This was a Knife Center exclusive with black gun coat. And I think it looks and performs very well with this blacked out Spyderco Para 3 in S45 VN blade steel. Now here's an interesting point of this duo. They're both in S45. So what I find intriguing is that you're getting two different presentations of this steel, two different heat treats, two different blade geometries, and two different cutting experiences. We know that the Chris Reeve is treated a little softer than the Spyderco, and we do know that the Spyderco can take a way toothier edge than the Chris Reeve. Now that's not to discredit the Chris Reeve. You can get these toothy if you use a 600 grit DMT stone like I did on mine. This one's got plenty of bite. It could use some work. It's kind of, this one is pretty beat up right now. It could use a cleaning. I think the last time I sharpened this was on a pocket sharpener, so it is not perfect by any means at all. However, this is a hard use knife, guys. The Inkosi model, large or small, I have had both. This thing is a tank of a knife. So if you put a low grit edge on this, it will keep a bite for quite some time, especially if you lay that edge back a hair. And this can be kind of your hard use beater knife out of the two. And you're going to get different aspects and experiences with this knife in comparison to the Para 3, even though they're both CPM S45VN. You can do light prying with this and scraping. You do have a hollow ground blade, so it's not like it's crazy thick behind the edge, but it's just a little more stout feeling, especially with that lockup in comparison to the Para 3. So I think that they work really well together because the S45 from Spyderco, dude, this takes a toothy edge. If you remove the fatigued steel from the get-go and put a crispy edge on this, this is a real experience. I feel like Spyderco just has some of the best heat treat on the market right now. I really think that they're just outperforming everything else because they dial that heat treat up so high. You know, they're not giving us baby shit soft frickin' steel. They're giving us that good. They're giving us those high heat treats, thin grinds. And this knife will shred for days. Super toothy. So this obviously would be the slicer out of the two. The cardboard destroyer of the two. Right? The more fidgety one. Mine really needs to be cleaned and stuff. Mine isn't really fidgety at all. I can't even get it to swing shut. It doesn't really move. But if I took care of it better, it would. So this can be kind of your, like, fidgety knife out of the duo. And then you've got the hard use, more stout beater. But I think that duo looks nice with that blackout. Look at that. That's nice. Okay, we've got one more to share with you guys. This one is a really good one as well. So we've got what I believe to be the two best offerings from Benchmade that they have ever put out. I know that is going to really cause a lot of comments, but in my opinion, these are the best knives that Benchmade has ever made. The best models, my favorite knives from Benchmade. I really am obsessed with both of these. So, of course, kind of going with the theme here, we have the hard use of the two, and then we have the slicer, right? Lightweight slicey, pry bar-esque knife. Can cover anything that you're going to encounter, I would figure. So I have used my 940 as a screwdriver, a pry bar, a leverage tool, a scraper, a pommel. This is going to be taking the shit end of the stick from your EDC tasks. If you are nervous about anything, just choose the 940. A timeless classic. Really nice to use. And then we obviously have our little bug out here coming in at under 2 ounces of absolute pleasure. Thin, slicey blade stock. Love that the tip of the knife is pretty darn centerline, I would say. Just incredibly lightweight. Both of these have great action and that fidget factor that I hate talking about, but people seem to be intrigued by. So this one can do your food prep out of the two, and your package processing. All that good jazz, right? And if you don't like the plastic scales, at least you've got this gorgeous aluminum to kind of take care of you. I love these two together. Genuinely, these are just the best from Benchmade in all aspects. I don't think I will ever get tired of these two knives. They're just awesome. So these two work really, really well together. You can get the 940 to slice a little better if you put a 15 DPS edge on there. 15 degrees per side. That should take care of you. Just use a lower grit. I would only go up to 600 tops with this. Just keep that toothiness of S30V. I really like it. From my experience, you can go higher in grit with the S30V on the bug out just because it is thinner ground. It's just offering a little bit of a different performance, so you can bring this up more. This is the factory edge, but I've had like so many bug outs come through, and I've messed around with different edges. I've put 1200 grit DMT on a bug out, and it performed extremely well. So you can polish these bad boys up if you want. This geometry is thin enough to handle that, but you're really, you're just going to glass out with the 940. If you try to polish this up, you're just not going to be able to perform as well with it. It's too thick behind the edge. You got to keep that bite. You got to keep a little bit of that bite on this model, from my experience, for it to actually cut. Really, really nice duo there. And there are mini versions of both of these. You can get a little baby bug out. You can get a little baby 940 if these are too long for you. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I just thought this would be kind of fun to record. I really like doing pairings of knives for testing and just because it's fun, right? But I really do tend to like carrying two knives because I can use two knives in a day. So like right now I've got that one and this one riding together because these are my test subjects for this month. I'm doing Rex 45 versus K390, so these two are in the pocket for the entire month of January. These are a lot of fun to use because these are two lightweight backlock models from Spyderco in tool steel, specifically two of the best tool steels that Spyderco offers. We've got CPM Rex 45 from Crucible, and we've got Bowler K390. So that has been a lot of fun to put head to head. I love this duo together. They're both thin and slicey, too. Nice and thin. These are a blast to use together. You've kind of got like that overbuilt type of aesthetic from the Native 5 lightweight, and then the Delica is a little more elegant, slimline, kind of like the 940, a little more gentlemanly, with that elongated blade shape. Just very comparable in weight, action, performance, all that stuff, but also bringing different things to the table. So those are some of my favorite pairings, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what you enjoy carrying together, what you think complements each other well, if you do carry two knives. I will see you guys on the next video. Go use your shit. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all soon. Bye.